The termination letter hit my desk at 9:03 a.m. on a Tuesday. My keycard stopped working at 9:04. Security was at my door by 9:05. Derek Holt, CEO of Holt Dynamics, had planned this down to the minute. What he hadn't planned was that I'd spent the last 6 months planning something too. My name is Gary Hardy. I'm a 43-year-old revenue architect. I don't build products. I build ecosystems. And for 4 years, I built Derek Holt an empire worth $47 million annually. Then he fired me to give my division to his nephew. My hands were shaking when I read the letter. Not from fear. From rage. The letter said restructuring. Clean word. Dirty lie. I had grown the Enterprise Solutions division from 0 to $47 million in recurring annual revenue. I had signed every major client personally. I had worked 80-hour weeks, skipped vacations, and buried 2 relationships because of that job. And Derek handed it to Corey Holt, 28 years old, no sales background, couldn't name 3 of our top clients if you paid him. My jaw was tight. My chest was burning. But I didn't say a word. I just picked up my bag. And I smiled. What Derek didn't know was that I had seen this coming. 3 months earlier, his assistant Priya had accidentally copied me on an internal email thread. The subject line was Transition Plan, Hardy Exit. I read every word. They had been planning to push me out for 8 weeks. Derek wanted Corey installed before the Q3 board meeting so the performance numbers would look like Corey's success. He was going to steal 4 years of my work and rebrand it with his nephew's name. I didn't confront him. I didn't leak it. I just started building my exit with the same precision I used to build his division. I had already registered my own company 2 months prior. Gray Peak Advisory. Lean, fast, built for enterprise clients. I had secured office space, hired 2 of my best analysts, Donna Reyes and Sam Okafor, and drafted service agreements that mirrored everything Holt Dynamics offered, at a 15% lower rate. I hadn't approached a single client yet. That part required timing. Derek firing me on a Tuesday gave me exactly what I needed. A clean legal start date. From the moment that keycard stopped working, I was free. And my phone was already charged. Here's what Derek never understood about relationships. He thought clients were loyal to Holt Dynamics. They weren't. They were loyal to me. I was the one who called them on their birthdays. I was the one who flew out at midnight when a launch failed. I was the one who restructured their contracts when budgets got tight. Derek was a name on a letterhead. I was the man who answered on the first ring. By Tuesday afternoon, I had sent quiet, professional emails to 11 of our top 14 clients. Not a pitch. Just a personal note. I've moved on. I wanted you to hear it from me first. The responses came fast. By Wednesday morning, 7 clients had replied asking to schedule a call. My chest, which had been tight with rage 36 hours earlier, started to settle. The anger didn't disappear. It just found a cleaner shape. I scheduled all 7 calls for Thursday. Before those calls happened, I needed to deal with one more thing. Derek had inserted a non-compete clause in my original contract. 2 years, 50-mile radius, same industry. On paper, it looked like a wall. But I had reread that clause 100 times in the past 3 months. And I had found the crack. The clause prohibited me from soliciting Holt Dynamics clients. But it didn't prohibit clients from coming to me. That distinction is everything in contract law. My attorney, Renata Osei, had confirmed it in writing 6 weeks ago. If a client reached out first, voluntarily, without me directly pitching, I was clean. So my Tuesday emails weren't pitches. They were notifications. Professional courtesy. Every word had been reviewed by Renata before I sent it. Derek could lawyer up all he wanted. I had already closed the door he planned to walk through. Thursday's calls were surgical. I didn't beg. I didn't badmouth Derek or Holt Dynamics. I simply explained that I had launched Gray Peak Advisory and that I believed I could continue delivering at the same level, if not higher. Then I listened. Client after client said the same thing in different words. We were wondering what would happen when you left. Not if. When. They had seen it coming before I did. Meridian Tech, our biggest account at $9 million annually, asked me to send a proposal by Friday. I had it ready before they finished the sentence. By Friday at noon, I had signed letters of intent from 5 clients. Combined annual value, $21 million. Gray Peak Advisory was 6 days old. I hadn't slept more than 4 hours a night. Donna and Sam were running on coffee and momentum. And across town, Derek Holt was just starting to understand what was happening. His head of client relations had called 3 of those 5 accounts to check in. All 3 told him they were exploring other options. I know because 2 of them forwarded me the call summaries without me asking. That was the first microcrack in Derek's wall. It would not be the last. Derek called me Friday afternoon. I let it go to voicemail. He called again. Voicemail. Then his lawyer called Renata. That call, I heard about immediately. They were threatening to file for injunctive relief, a court order to stop me from operating. Renata's response was calm and fast. She emailed them a 14-page brief within 2 hours. It outlined the specific contractual language, the legal precedent in our state for voluntary client migration, and a very polite notice that any injunctive filing would be countered with a tortious interference claim. Derek's lawyer went quiet for 48 hours. While Derek's legal team scrambled, I closed 2 more clients. Northgate Financial and Paragon Systems. Both had been with Holt Dynamics for over 3 years. Both chose Gray Peak without a moment of hesitation. Northgate's CFO told me directly, "We signed with you, Gary. Not the company name on your business card." That sentence hit different than I expected. I had to step out of the office for 2 minutes. Not because I was emotional. Because I finally understood the full weight of what I had built, and how casually Derek had thrown it away. Monday morning, Derek Holt made his first public move. He issued a press statement saying Holt Dynamics was excited about new leadership in its enterprise division, and that the company was well-positioned for continued growth. He didn't mention my name. He didn't have to. Every client, every industry contact, and every journalist who covered our sector knew what the statement really meant. I had left and taken the floor with me. By Monday afternoon, 2 trade publications had reached out asking for comment. I said nothing. Silence, at the right moment, is louder than any statement. Then Derek made his mistake. A bad one. He contacted Meridian Tech directly, not through his lawyer, not through a client relations rep. Derek called their CEO, Philip Okonkwo, personally. He told Philip that I had violated my non-compete and that any contract signed with Gray Peak would be legally contested. That was a lie. And Derek said it to the wrong man. Philip Okonkwo had built 2 companies from scratch and had been in more boardrooms than Derek had hot meals. He knew a bluff when he heard one. He called me within the hour. He said, "You're in breach," Philip told me. His tone was flat. Not alarmed. Curious. "Are you?" "No," I said. "I can send you the legal brief our attorney filed Friday. It's 14 pages. Would you like all of it or just the relevant clause?" Philip was quiet for 3 seconds. Then he said, "Send it all." I did. 20 minutes later, he emailed back 4 words, "We're signing with you. Meridian Tech $9 million annually." Signed. Derek had tried to use fear as a weapon against me. He had handed me my biggest win instead. I now had $32 million in committed annual revenue. Gray Peak Advisory was 11 days old. But I wasn't done. Because Derek hadn't just stolen my work. He had also made one catastrophic structural error in the 4 years I ran his division. Every master client agreement, every core contract, had been built on templates I had personally designed. Derek's legal team had reviewed them. His CFO had signed off. Nobody had noticed the clause I had quietly embedded on page 7 of each agreement. A performance continuity clause. If a client's primary relationship manager left the firm, the client had the right to renegotiate or exit the contract within 30 days. No penalty. No fee. I had put that clause there 2 years ago. Not as sabotage. As protection. For the clients. But it also meant that every remaining client at Holt Dynamics who had worked with me had a legal exit window. Right now, Derek's 3 remaining large accounts, the ones who hadn't called me yet, was sitting on a contractual trapdoor. I didn't contact them. I didn't need to. Word spreads in enterprise sales. It always does. By Wednesday, 2 of those 3 accounts had quietly requested contract reviews from their own attorneys. I know because one of them called to ask if I had capacity. Derek finally broke on Thursday, 17 days after he fired me. His attorney called Renata and asked, not demanded, whether there was any basis for a settlement conversation. Renata called me immediately. I didn't rush to the phone. I finished my coffee, looked out the window of my new office, and called her back in 10 minutes. What does he want? I asked. He wants you to stop accepting his clients, Renata said. I laughed. Not loudly. Just once. Clean and short. Tell them Grey Peak Advisory does not turn away voluntary inquiries from prospective clients. And tell them that if they file anything, we file back same day. Derek didn't file. He knew what I knew. He had no case. His non-compete was clean on paper but unenforceable in execution because every client had come to me without direct solicitation. His fraud claim was dead because I had Renata's written guidance from 6 weeks prior proving my actions were deliberate and legally reviewed. And his performance argument, that I had somehow damaged Holt Dynamics, was a joke. I hadn't damaged anything. I had simply taken what clients offered me when they chose to leave. Derek had built a division on my relationships. When I left, the relationships left too. That's not sabotage. That's arithmetic. By the end of week 3, the industry had noticed. A trade outlet ran a piece titled Holt Dynamics Loses Key Executive, and apparently its clients. Derek's name appeared in the 3rd paragraph. Mine appeared in the 1st. Holt Dynamics stock, which was privately held but tracked by a financial data firm, was quietly marked down by an analyst who covered mid-market tech services. The headline wasn't about me, but every number in that article was built on my absence. Derek had spent 4 years taking credit for a machine I built. Now everyone could see what the machine looked like without its architect. On day 24, I signed my 14th client. Grey Peak Advisory now had $38 million in committed annual revenue. Corey Holt, Derek's nephew and the man installed to replace me, had managed to retain 2 accounts. One of them was Derek's personal contact, a firm that existed almost entirely because Derek played golf with its founder. The other was a legacy account so embedded in Holt Dynamics billing system that migration would take a year. Corey had not signed a single new piece of business. Not one. The golden boy had inherited a burning building. And he had no idea how to stop the fire. Derek called me one final time. I answered this one. He didn't yell. I'll give him that. His voice was controlled. Tight. But controlled. You've made your point, he said. Have I? I asked. You're hurting the company. You fired me, Derek. The company hurt itself. Silence. Then, what would it take? I let the silence sit for 4 seconds. Then I said, nothing. We're done. I ended the call. He didn't call back. That was the last time Derek Holt and I spoke. He had nothing left to offer. And I had nothing left to prove. Grey Peak Advisory closed its first quarter with $41 million in signed contracts. Donna Reyes was promoted to head of client strategy. Sam Okafor took over operations. We hired 4 more people from the industry, 2 of whom had worked at Holt Dynamics. Corey Holt quietly resigned 6 weeks after I left. Derek attempted to restructure the division for the 2nd time. 2 of the 3 remaining accounts he had left triggered the performance continuity clause and exited. Holt Dynamics Enterprise Division, the one I had built from zero, was functionally dissolved within 2 months of my departure. Derek was left holding the name. I didn't celebrate loudly. There was no party, no announcement, no statement. I sat in my office on a Thursday evening, the city dark outside, my phone quiet for once. I had not started this for revenge. I had started it because Derek left me no other path. But as I looked at the signed contracts stacked on my desk and the team moving through the office beyond the glass wall, one thought was clear. Derek Holt spent 4 years thinking he was the asset. He wasn't. I was. And the moment he forgot that, the clock started. He just didn't know it. Because remember, emotion is just noise. A plan is a finish line. Derek felt powerful the morning he fired me. I was already 3 months ahead of him. That is the difference between reacting and executing. If you enjoyed watching this justice unfold, please like the video and leave a comment below. I read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed to Revenge with Monroe yet, hit that notification bell so you never miss the next move. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.